Sweet Lord of baby Jesus. Oh, me. Sweet baby Jesus. Whew. I've been laying under here so long I can't even move. Yeah. Yo, what's up? This is John from Generation Girl in the Peach Capital with a state, baby. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, let me roll up out of this beautiful beam footage. Now I know why I saved the wiring to last. Lord have mercy. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Woo. It is a flat ass mess. Flat ass mess. Yeah. Especially going behind somebody else and you don't know what's going on. It is a mess. Man, there's stuff that's cut and then folded over and then taped. Yeah. Yeah. It is a mess. Mess. That's all right, though. We'll get it. Get it. I need a razor blade so I can cut this tape. I figured I'd hop on here, see what everybody's got going on this evening. Let me find me a razor blade. I should have got a pack of razor blades today when I was at the Wally World. I thought I had a new razor blade. I had one earlier. Just don't know. Half the harness gets never. Yeah, T-Bone, you right on that one. And just as soon as I find this razor blade, so I can crawl my big donkey ass back up underneath here, I'll show you. I think the headlight switch is bad, honestly. I got the headlights to come on. Start pulling fuses. Oh no, all the fuses. Well, see, that's the thing. All the fuses have power. There's the razor blade. I knew I had it right there. It is. No, all the fuses have power, but they're not. The lines are not hooked up to anything. They're just folded, zip tied, and electrical taped. Like I said before, I never checked anything before I took the gauge cluster out. I don't know if the lights worked. I'm sure the headlights worked because I'm sure he drove it. I can't get the windshield wiper motor to run. I can't get it to go. I've energized it with the power probe. I've energized the windshield wiper motor. I've energized it with the power probe, and it just clicks, click. I've even tapped it with the little screwdriver to see if it's locked up, Doesn't do anything. It worked at one time because you can see the scratches on the windshield. Like I said, I didn't check anything before pulled everything out because I just thought everything worked. But nevertheless, yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that, woo. Look at that right there. Let me let y'all live with me. Let me let y'all, look at that right there, look at that right there. Woo, Lord have mercy, sweet baby Jesus. Look, just look at it. Y'all look at it. Look at it. Just look. Just look at it. And see, like T-Bone said, there's a lot of stuff that's not being used. That's just stuck up there. Now, I did go through here and label all this stuff before, and I rolled it up like this and just whatever. But what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. Let me show you. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that. Just look. Look at that. Look at that. Just look at that right there. That was folded over and had electrical tape. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. I have no idea what the hell that went to. What's up, Tulu? I'll catch up on the chat here in a second. I had no idea. No idea what the hell none of this shit went to. It's not labeled. It's just damn bushwhacked and cut off. It don't have power on it. And I don't know, let's turn the key on. Turn the key on. Sweet baby Jesus. So I don't know. Now I know this is an interior light, or this is interior lights, like floor lights and stuff like that, because they're usually orange and white, but there's no bulb in it. These bulbs here go into the dash. No, the stereo's hooked up. Stereo's on. No, I already got the stereo. Stereo's on. Yeah, it ain't the stereo. I ain't got a damn clue what that is. It's a bunch of wires, so I'm gonna have to go in there and figure out what in the hell. See, that's what I'm talking about, the electrical tape. I'm gonna have to cut all this electrical tape off and trace every one of these wires and see where the hell Batman they go. I mean, look at all them wires. Look at all that shit. Yeah, wires only they only do what you ask them to do, and them right there ain't doing nothing. And see, I got power. I got power on the headlight switch. I got power on the headlight switch. Well, I said I had power. Yeah, see, I got power on the headlight switch, but that's about all I have. Nothing else works. Like, the headlights don't come on when you hit the headlight switch, so it could be a bad headlight switch. It could be a bad ground. It could be a combination of both. So I really don't know. I really don't know. So I've been messing with it for just a little bit. Look, there's stuff like that just hanging out. Just hanging out. Like this little orange wire right here. Like I said. So we're just checking everything, pulling wires, all that crap. So I figured I'd hop on here and show you what's going on, to give you a little bit of content tonight. So somebody put a new wiring harness in it, and most of the stuff's not being used, like T-Bone says. There's a lot of stuff like power windows, this, that. I did find the air conditioner power wire. I did find it, so I drug it over there to the AC system. I did find that. I did do this. I did get this done. Let me get a light on the situation. It's just sitting here. No, there's no power to the headlights. No. So that's why I think it's either a bad ground or a bad switch. Because if there's no power to the headlights, there is no power to the headlights. No. So when I test the wire to the headlights with the headlight switch on, there is no power. I can energize the headlights with the power probe and the lights come on. So I went around here and I fixed, y'all remember that spider ground? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that famous ground that we found, right? See that ground? Look at that. Look at that ground right there. So we cut that off and I made a new one right there and I crimped it. I cleaned it. So that's a good ground. That's a good chassis ground. That's a good body ground. So I know that's good. Cause when I start checking stuff, lights come on. Or my test light comes on. Where's it at? So like right here. So when I go to test, see, look, when I go to test, see, I got power. So I know that's good. Here's the controller. All right, so here's this. So he wants this wrapped in black suede. So I got all this in there. These supposed to have lights in them, but there's no lights in the backside of them. They're missing them. They're sort of like this right here that goes in the back. So I did find online that you can buy the replacement ones. So when the lights come on, so when he turns his lights on, the lights light up in here. So I got to tell him to order those. I did. I'll catch up on the comments here in a second. So like I said, these are the controllers for the air conditioner. You know, there's the fan. This is the level, defrost, or lower vents. And then this right here is the temperature, right? So we got to wire these up, which is plug and play to the Gen 5 system. Here is the USB plugs that he ordered off of Amazon right there. I know a lot of people use the same ones. I took the little flapper off of it, and then when you push that, that tells you that they got power on them. So that right there works, and it works and charge my phone. All right, this right here is an LED light that I found. I found it at the pot store. Here's the toggle switch that I was telling you. They had just a little bitty toggle switch on this gauge. That was actually, this part here was actually bolted to the bottom of the dash. Well, it can't be there no more because we put the air conditioner vents. So we made this the other day, right? So I got a couple screws in it, just holding it in place. Well, I got a new toggle switch and I put this toggle switch right here. So the way they had it before is, now I rewired all the air ride in the trunk. New wires, new relays, new power wires, all that stuff in the trunk. All that stuff's all brand new wiring. New pumps, everything. But what I did do is I did leave their trigger wire that they had running up here to the dash that was on a little bitty toggle switch, that when he flipped the toggle switch on, it would activate the pumps, complete the circuit. The pumps will run until they reach 200 PSI, and then the pressure switch will turn the pumps off. And then when he's playing with the air ride and all that stuff, and then it drops below 200 PSI on the pumps or on the tank tank pressure switch engages, tells the pumps to come back on, and it pumps. What that toggle switch was that they had in the corner right here, that little bitty toggle switch, that was when he was done for the day and he parked the car, he would just flip that switch and it would kill the power to the air ride. So in the middle of the night, if you had an air leak or whatever, the compressors and stuff wouldn't come on because of the pressure switch. So I put the toggle switch, a bigger toggle switch, back in its place, and I put it here. So now the way it works, when he flips this switch on, this LED light will come on and tell him that, hey, the pumps, the air ride system in the trunk is energized. And then as he's riding around, cutting up, doing whatever he's doing, at the end of the day, he flips the toggle switch off, and then it kills the power to the pump. So I'm going to show you. So when I flip this switch, we're going to energize the relays in the trunk, and the compressors are going to come on. See that? So now it comes on. So that's how that works. And then when it gets 200 psi, it'll kill the relay by the pressure switch, and that light will go out. But we're not waiting that long because we don't want to. So if he's riding around during the day doing whatever, and he's done for the day and he goes to park, he can just do that, and that kills the power to the trunk, and which is on its own power system. It has its own battery, it has its own system. I'll show it to you. And then he's good to go. And then these are the controllers. And once I wrap this in black velvet or suede, then I'll put the dial indicators on there that shows you the fan, the temperature, and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna get him to order the little inserts for the bulbs, similar like this, that go in the back of these gauges, and I'll wire that up to when he turns his running lights on, these light up so he can see in dark what's going on. So I'll show you in the trunk. I tell you what. Ooh. Ooh. So what I was telling you is the air ride is in the trunk, which was already in there, and it was on that board system. All what I did was I just rewired everything. All new relays, all new wiring harness, all that. We also put a purge valve on the tank, which you can see the little 90-degree nickel. I use nickel fittings. So there's a 90-degree nickel fitting right here. There's 90-degree detail fitting fitting right there, and it runs over to, and it goes to a solenoid. You see that solenoid right there? There's a solenoid. Come on now, work with me. There's a solenoid. You see that solenoid? That solenoid actually runs over and goes out of the car, and when I get the car back up, I'm gonna secure this to the car so it don't sit there and whip. This is the purge line to get all the air or all the moisture out of the system after he's been playing or whatever, once a month or whatever. And I put that trigger system right there. So right there, that's the trigger system. So when he wants to purge the air out of the, or purge the water out of the system, so the condensation at the bottom of the tank, because when I took this thing out originally with those old compressors, there was about a gallon of water in that tank. And then I left the tank open and let it dry, and then I put an air line in it and blowed the moisture out of it. Now it goes from the compressors to two compressors. So you got compressor 1 and compressor 2. They both go through water traps, their own individual water traps. Then it goes into the tank. Then out of the tank, it goes to the valve, the switches in the car over there at the dash. So what he can do once a month or whatever, all he's got to do is push this button, and it purges the moisture out of the tank. Now, like you hear it whipping, it's just underneath the car and it's just whipping. So I have to secure that. So when you hear that, say, oh, what is that noise? It's just a line sitting there whipping. So once I secure it, you won't hear that. What would be pretty, just so he can just come out here and hold it for like 5 seconds. And that purges all the moisture and all the air, all the moisture and water out of the system. And it makes it very nice. Now, here's the battery. Here's the battery just for the air ride. This has nothing to do with the car. It's just the air ride. Now, here's the new battery cable, or here's the ground cable that I'm going to use, and I got to put a new end on it. And this is going to go from here down to this bolt. This bolt is actually welded to the frame, so it has a frame ground. This little white wire here is just temporary. But this ground right here is going to go from here to here. This yellow wire right here, that yellow wire runs around, runs up, and goes to the relay system, and that's what runs up to that toggle switch up to the dash. That's how they had it before. I just replaced the yellow line. These two fuses right here, This came with the kit from AVS. This is the battery cable wires for the compressors, and they're two 40 amp systems. So this is a 40 amp fuse with a 40 amp relay. This is a 40 amp fuse with a 40 amp relay. The problem people have with these compressors is they don't put them on a relay and they burn them up because they pull so much power. They don't run through a relay, they just wire it straight up. Or like it was before on this one, they had one power wire. Then once it got to the compressors, it split off. It went from 1 to 2, and then it went to one relay. They had two 40 amp compressors running on one 40 amp relay. You cannot do that. It will kill the compressor. So once all this is done, I'll wire loom all this, and you won't even be able to see it. Then we put this dyno mat down. And then I built that retaining wall. That retaining wall between here and the cabin is made out of 18 gauge sheet metal, and it's dyno matted on both sides. Y'all remember we made the new package tray. He's got the speakers ordered. They should be here sometime or whatever, nevertheless. But that's that. Like I said, I don't understand. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'll figure it out. But when I energize this is my power probe. So when I energize the headlights, they come on. But when I go and turn the switch on in the dash and just power probe the wire, there is no power on these wires. There's none. So what I did was I was like, well, maybe it's a bad ground. I said, well, maybe it's a, look at this thing, dusty. I said, maybe it's a bad ground. Well, here's the wiring harness for the headlights. Here's the ground. So what I did was I took the screw out. This is the screw that was in it. I took it out. I took the dyno file and I cleaned bare metal on the core support, and then I screwed it back in there. And I done the exact same thing on the other side as well. I done the exact same thing on the other side. So it would have done that on that side, and I was like, okay, cool. It still didn't work. So I was like, all right, well, shit on this. So what I did was now we're not using these battery terminal ends. These will get replaced. So what I did was I took a 10 gauge wire. This is 10 gauge. I put it into the battery terminal on the negative side, and I run this over to the core support and grounded the core support to the battery. That still didn't fix my headlights. My headlights still won't come on with the switch. So that tells me that it's possible, like Mac just said, the dimmer switch, the dimmer function in the switch, when you go to, you want your dimmer on, you want your interior lights like that, is bad on the inside and is shorted out. Because I have power here. Hold on a second, boys and girls. Ow! I have power here on the red wire, but when I go try to energize any of these wires to check, to see, I don't have anything. I don't have no ground. I don't have no power. I don't have anything. Now, this car didn't have an interior, don't have an interior light, but he bought one and he wants me to put one in there. So we're going to have to do that as well. So, ground the frame first, maybe the body. I have done all that. So the frame is grounded. So I'm big on grounds. So the frame is grounded to the core support. The frame is grounded to the engine. The frame is grounded to the transmission. So the transmission is grounded to the chassis. The engine is grounded to the chassis. The core support is grounded to the chassis. And then the battery is grounded to the chassis. The battery is grounded to the core support. So still don't have no power. Can you use the power probe to power? Can you use the power probe to power from the switch? Yes. but I still don't have anything. Yep. So if I put the power probe, this is the feed coming in right here, right? So this red wire is the feed. I have power coming in, but when you go to pull the switch, the power's not being transferred to any of the wires. So when I put the power probe on the right wire, I can make the headlights come on. So that tells me that it's possible the switch is bad. I even checked this ground wire here that's into the switch. I checked its continuity for the ground, and I have a good ground. So it's telling me, it's pointing to a bad headlight switch. Yeah, that's right, T-Bone. That's right. Firewall to chassis. Firewall to chassis. Yes, Mac. Yes, Mac. Yes. Firewall to chassis. Yep, I have one of those as well. Yep. It's actually firewall to the back of the block, and then the block to the chassis. So yes, I do have that as well. Yes. Yep. So yeah, sounds like a switch to me. So they pretty much keep those in stock at AutoZone. Also, I can't get the windshield wipers to come on. And then when I charge the line on the windshield wiper with the power probe, the windshield wiper motor just clicks. It goes click, 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 click. So I took and tap, 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 and it still goes click, 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 click. So again, I don't know if the windshield wipers worked. If they did work, I don't know the quality of it. They work. I don't know. I didn't check them. I didn't check it before I started tearing this thing apart. It just is what it is. So electrical is the big thing, man. It's like crazy. Crazy. And I'll tell you something else that's weird, like crazy weird, like doesn't even make no sense weird. I know what it is. Like, here is the craziest part that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, literally. So check this out. Y'all gonna get a kick out of this, because I sure hell did. All right, so these wires right here, these wires, oh, brain. Oh, no, pinky. You want to know pinky or the brain? Pinky all the way, man. Pinky all the way. All right, so check this out. These right here are the wires that were off of the old steering column, okay? Now, y'all pay attention now, because this right here is crazy as hell. These wires right here, yeah, I got to figure out somebody else's craziness. Now, check this out. This is batshit crazy right here. All day, every day, twice on Tuesday, and every day ends in Y. This makes absolutely no sense. No sense. So y'all pay attention. All right? So pay attention to this. These wires right here are the wires off of the old steering column. These wires right here were on a plug. That plug is a half moon plug that plugged in to the old steering column. Okay? I unplugged the plug from the old steering column, and we took the old steering column out and we threw it in the trash. This is the new wiring harness. These are the new wires on the new steering column that has a long flat plug. Well, long and flat doesn't meet round, a radius, right? So what they're, it's GM, so it's pretty much it is what it is, right? So the colors, I wrote them down. Where's my notebook? Here's my notebook. I'm gonna turn the damn page. Right here. Here's the wiring harness, right? Nah, you the mad scientist. All right, so look here. This is the steering column, the new one. Black, ground, right? This is all GM, right? This is the harness from the car, which is all GM. So I pulled up the wiring harness for a 63 Impala for steering column, and I wrote down all the colors, right? All the colors. All of them match. Black to black, white to white, gray to gray. Everything's the same. Poop, 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 right? Yellow, look, yellow is the left rear turn signal, okay? In the new steering column, right? Yellow, left rear turn signal. Okay, look. Yellow in the wiring harness for the factory plug for the Impala, yellow, left rear turn signal. So yellow is left rear turn signal, yellow, left rear turn signal. Now, if you've been paying attention to what I've been telling you, now listen. This is the crazy ass part. Now watch this shit. Crazy, 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 crazy. Yellow, which is on the factory harness, which is left rear turn signal. Yellow on the steering column, which is left rear turn signal. When I plug these two together, let me show y'all this right here. Y'all listen. Y'all just listen. Listen real good. When I plug these two wires together, I'm going to stop talking and I want y'all to tell me what y'all hear. The damn radio come on and the fuel pump come on. The radio come on and the fuel pump come on. You can't make this shit up. Now, this is the crazy part. The fuel pump is not even wired up in the car. Absolutely not. The fuel pump is the Holley fuel pump. The Holley fuel pump is wired up through the Holley system by itself that's hooked directly to the battery. Directly to the battery. The radio is hooked up to the radio wire that says 12 volt source in the harness and is hooked up directly to the radio. You plug up the turn signal wire and the fuel pump comes on and the radio comes on. You cannot make this shit up. Why the fuel pump's coming on through the left turn signal wire has me completely baffled, because the blue wire on the fuel pump goes strictly to the computer on the Holley. The black wire on the fuel pump is grounded to the chassis. That's it. The Holley system is hooked directly to the red side and directly to the black side of the battery. So how in the hell is the fuel pump coming on when I hook that yellow wire up and it's supposed to be the left turn signal and the damn radio comes on? Make that make sense. Yeah, that is absolutely 100% hilarious. It's hilarious. Makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely. They're not even in the same hemisphere. They're not even the same hemisphere. Not even in the same hemisphere. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. None. Yeah, completely two different systems. They're not even together. They're not even together. That's what I'm talking about. That makes no sense. Cars, come on. So it makes absolute, and then the radio, there's two, I'm gonna show you. On the radio, there is two red wires. Look here. There is two red wires right there. Y'all see those two red wires? Those two red wires right there? That is directly from the harness that says 12 volt ignition and 12 volt constant power. That hooks directly to the radio. That's it. Those two wires are the radio wires that go straight to the harness. That is completely it. Absolutely absolutely makes absolutely no sense. I could see why the radio would come on because it's still in the same system or something, but it doesn't make no sense. But the fuel pump is mind-boggling because the fuel pump system is not even a part of the car. It's a part of the Holly system, which is completely by itself remotely. Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. When you plug that yellow wire up, the fuel pump comes on, you try to crank the car won't crank. Crazy, 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 crazy. I'll show you. Look, I mean crazy, batshit crazy, 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 crazy. Look here. So when you take this wire right here and you stick it in that hole right there, the fuel pump comes on, right? The fuel pump comes on. And then you go to crank the car won't crank because it's hooked up. But when I turn the ignition switch, the fuel pump comes on. What'd he say? JG, I have your car accelerating. Yes. So you powered up what's supposed to be the turn signal, and the radio kicked on, and the fuel pump come on. Yes, exactly. JG, I have your car accelerating with the brake disabled. Oh, yeah. That's a Night Rider secret. So, but see, when I turn the key, that wire's not hooked up, right? When I turn the key, now, the car's gonna run a little rough because the O2 sensor is just sitting underneath the exhaust, and the O2 sensor is not in the exhaust because it doesn't have an exhaust. It's got headers on, or it's got the Ram headers on there, so the O2 sensor is just hanging right up underneath, just catching a little bit of O2 smoke or O2 fumes and stuff. But the car, the car, I think positive wire could be, yeah, okay, look. So yeah, that car will be, I think the positive wire could be grounded. Positive, looks like more modern radio. Yeah, it needs 12 volts. I think that car will be peeping out the window. I think the positive wire could be grounded. What positive wire? What positive wire, Elko? What are you talking about? What positive wire? What positive wire are you talking about? Hook that to the headlight, maybe. Come on. Yeah, crazy, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, crazy. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, somewhere, that's what I mean, I can't do it while I'm on live because I'll be laying down there and y'all won't be able to see nothing. So what I got to do is I take that razor blade and I got to cut all the black electrical tape off of the wiring harness that they taped up, cut all of it off and trace that yellow wire that's supposed to be the left turn signal wire. Well, Gary, it is a new harness. See, he asked me, he said, do you think I need to buy a new wiring harness? And I said, no, somebody's already put a new wiring harness in the car and none of it's being used, honestly. So here's the crate. Is the harness from the column or is it from the fuse box? The harness that has the power on it is from the fuse box, not from the steering column. Well, here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. When the old column was in the car, it didn't do that. It cranked right up. Yeah, so So Gary, to answer your question, you said the client should have got a new wiring harness. The car, somebody put a new wiring harness in it, but here's the crazy part about it. Half of the wiring, well, a lot of the wiring harness wasn't even used. The alternator excite wire wasn't being used. Yeah, the alternator excite wire wasn't being used. The 12-volt starter wire wasn't being used. The purple wire for the starter relay wasn't being used. That stuff wasn't being used. Now, the headlights and all that stuff, those wires are, you can see, are run to the headlight switch. Those are being because the headlight switch is a part of the new wiring harness, and then it's plugged in. But all that stuff's been electrical taped really, really tight, and sounds like the harness in the column, not the back end, maybe the wire. Sounds like the harness issues in the column on the back end. Well, it's possible, but it's a GM column and a GM wiring harness, and the colors are the same, but it's possible. So, and here's something else. This wire here, look, this wire here has power on it, right? All right, so check this out. This right here, this is the harness. This is the harness to this wiring harness here is the new harness to the steering column. This right here has power on it. Look, it has power on it. Look, see, it's hot, right? It's already hot, and there's nothing on. So what I'm going to do, it's got 12 volts on it. So it has to be getting voltage through one of these wires because there's no other wire. And here's the other crazy part. See this black wire right here? That's the ground for, there's two grounds. There's a ground on the column, and then this is the ground for the harness. So I was like, well, maybe it's the ground problem. So I grounded it, and it still has voltage. So what I'm going to do, yeah, I agree with it. It's feeding somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and drop every bit of this, and I'm going to take a razor blade, and I'm going to cut every bit of this black electrical tape. See, somebody come under here, but when they put the harness in, they put white tape on it, put temperature code. They labeled a bunch of stuff, but this tape's so old, it just brittle, it just falls off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this harness, cut the black electrical tape off. I'm going to peel it off, and you look, and you can see right here that this part, this is the steering column wiring, and then it goes right here. So I don't know if this is a plug or they have put butt connectors and connected the wire to something and then put electrical tape on it. And then this runs up and runs over. I don't know, it runs over, it comes in here, and then it's right here. So it's right here, and then it runs over, and then it runs into the fuse box. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skin all that electrical tape off, and I'm gonna trace where these wires go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Chris. I gotta cut all the black electrical tape off of it and go, but it's right here. I'm pretty sure the gauge of that wire right there, it honestly looks like, y'all just hang tight. It's right here in this bundle. I think that's it right there. I think that's the wire right there. And then that wire runs over and then runs into the fuse box. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this harness loose, let it drop down. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skin. But see, the crazy part is right here, the harness has no power. You see what I'm saying? It don't have any power. The power is on the steering column, which I don't know how the steering column's getting power unless it's getting power through one of these other wires. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to take the razor blade and I'm going to cut all the electrical tape off, and I'm going to trace it all the way back to where it's at. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the wire. Once I get it pulled back, it'll probably have a name on it. Well, it says whatever it is, and then I'll find the fuse in the fuse box, and then I'll pull it, and then I'll see what we got going on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to power probe all these, or I'm going to probe all these to see what these are doing, and we'll go from there. Probably what I'm going to do is probably cut all these loose and see which one of these is feeding power to the column, because here's something else that's kind of interesting besides me being stuck like a damn turtle. All right, here's something else that's pretty interesting. When I can't do it when I'm holding the thing. I probably could. When you touch this wire right here, right, and you go to turn the turn signal, left turn signal, look, no power. It doesn't have any power. None whatsoever. Absolutely. So when you go to, this is the turn signal, when you go turn left, so this wire right here is the wire that says left turn signal. You see I got power on it, right? Well, when you go to turn the left turn signal, and now you check it, you don't have no power. It don't even blink like it's turn signal. And then, so I'm going to start checking all the wires to see what we're doing. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Let me see. Let me catch up on these comments. Yeah, Phil, you Special K, that's what I'm saying. They might have crossed the wires in there, and oh, I hadn't got that far, T-Bone. I wonder if the flasher really is bad, sending juice to all of them. Hey, it's possible, Mac. Like I said, I just got to a good stopping point, and I said, hey, let me jump on here, and let's just talk about it and just spitball. That's a lot of things that I'm going to check. I just want to see what everybody was doing. Sound like harmless issue. Yeah, but cross feed, that's what's on. That's what I mean you're still working on. Yeah, I wonder if the relay's bad. It's possible. Damn, to find that would take some time. Having the seat, oh yeah, man. This is the only way, man, to do underneath dash work, man. You got to pull the damn, I had to pull the seats out anyway to put the dyno mat down. And I'm glad I didn't put the seats in there because the clients ordered new carpet. But I'm not going to put the new carpet in until we're done because I don't want to get it dirty. Hardworking. Who, Mr. Random, who's hardworking? Mr. Random, who's hardworking? That's where I would start, probably open that ball of shit, and they probably put a hey, Special K, you probably right, man. And look, whenever I find out what it is, I will come back, and I'm hoping I figure it out between now and tomorrow, because I really want to move forward on this. When I find out what it is, I'll come back and I'll say, hey, fellas, this is where I found it. This is what was wrong. This is what we done. You were right. You know, whoever chimed in and said, hey, this is it, I'm going to give you credit for it and say, yep, you were right. That's where it was at, because right now we're all learning together to see where troubleshooting's at. You know, the biggest thing that's one of my pet peeves is when somebody asks you something and you give them some advice, and that's what you guys are doing. You say, hey, man, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that. So we're kind of spitballing ideas. And then when you actually find out what's wrong with it, nobody never comes back and say, oh, yeah, that's what it was. It was a bad flasher switch, or, yeah, it was a bad headlight switch. Or you never tell what answer, so you never complete the story. I hate that, man. I hate that. Um, yeah, turn it on the, no, I don't need a diagram. I mean, I got one. I got a diagram. I got all that, William. I got all that. Full wave flasher, but I don't know salt water. That's where we're going. We're just chasing. Oh no, I don't stop. I ain't got time to stop, man. I told y'all that, well, you're not a member to the channel, so you wouldn't have seen the video. I said the other day, I'm done with all the bullshit, man. I'm done with all the distractions. I'm getting back to where I'm supposed to be. I apologize to my members, my subscribers, and to my clients. I don't have no time for distractions. I don't have any time for mind-rotten bull crap. If it's not stimulating my brain, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I wish everybody the best. I hope they succeed. But if you can't stimulate me to push me to the next level, I don't have no time for it. And I said that I'm going to become unreachable and unstoppable. That's where I was before. And I just got to grind, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm not in competition with nobody. Don't care. I tried to motivate the community, but the community sees me as a threat. So guess what? The community can survive on its own. They survive without me. They can, they don't need me to survive. And I don't, it is what it is. I had a 15 Wrangler. So the community, the little community, don't need me. They can survive on their own because apparently the community sees me as a threat. I about said something. The community sees me as a threat, and I'm not a threat. So what I do, I just remove myself from the situation, and you boys can have it. You can do whatever you want to do. I had a 15 Wrangler Jeep with a crushed harness, the door open, and started the engine closed. That is crazy, Special K. That's crazy. I got one for you too, Special K. Had a Dodge, was that a Dodge K car? A Dodge K car. When I worked at Sandhills and I was an instructor at Sandhills Community College, had a Dodge K car that would always go in the default mode, in the limp mode with the transmission. So we pulled the transmission out, we tore it down, we looked at it. Transmission looked good, but on those K cars and those Mopars, there's a module that goes on the side. I forget what it's called, a shift pack module or something that goes on the side of the transmission. So thought maybe that was bad. Can't really test them, so we got another one, put everything back in there, went to drive the car, bam, went right back to limp mode, stayed in second gear. Kept messing with it, and I don't know if it's still available, but there used to be a system called Identifix, right? And All Data. You got All Data and Mitchell and Identifix. Well, I don't know if Identifix is still around. So on Identifix, you could go on to the website and you say, hey, look, I got this car. This is what's doing. And then you just put it out there for the inside the network that other mechanics and other techs worked on, and you kind of spitball. That's what we're doing. We're spitballing ideas, what could be wrong in real time. That's what we're doing. And then people would come back and say, hey, did you check this? Did you check that? Did you check this? So we printed off the wiring harness schematic off of All Data, and we had to tape all the pages together on the table and made one big wiring harness picture, right? So I'll catch up on the comments in a second, but I'm following up with Special K. So we're looking at everything, right? We're looking at everything. Couldn't figure out what it was. Then the main instructor, the department chair, been there 30 years. The other guy been there for like 25 years. Everybody's looking and trying to figure out what's going on. Why does this transmission keep going back to default mode? So this one mechanic chimed in on the Identifix, and he says, does the car have power windows? Power and heated mirrors. Or no, power and heated mirrors. And if it does, check the fuse. It's like, okay, check the fuse, right? It's like, all right. So we go check the fuse, which was like a little 5 amp fuse or a 10 amp fuse. And the fuse was blowed. Like, huh. Now, let's pause for a second. The lady that owned the car had already put 2 transmissions in it, and it still done the same thing. So then she reached out to the school to see if they would take it when we had automatic transmissions to see whatever. The lady done put 2, this was in 2008, 2009. So it's like, okay, cool. So now let's fast forward. The fuse was popped for the power mirrors and the heated mirrors. It was popped. Put a new fuse in it, fuse popped. Okay, so now we got a short with the mirrors. Well, one of the students says, hey, the mirror on the passenger side is not the same as the one on the driver's side. It was still a heated power mirror, but it was a different color. It was like an off gray. It wasn't really gray like the car. It was just a different color. So I was like, okay, so we popped the door panel off on the passenger side, opened the door panel up, and the mirror was never hooked up. The wiring harness was never hooked up. So what they had done, apparently they knocked the mirror off the passenger side. They put the new mirror on there, and they didn't hook the wire up. But the original wire, they just cut it and twisted it together in electrical tape, and it was hanging in the door, sweeping back and forth. So what happened with it being inside the door, going back and forth, it rubbed the wire coating off of the wire, and it shorted out. So that popped the fuse, right? So we untwisted the wires, cut them, put butt connectors on them, and then hooked it back up to the mirror, soldered everything, and shrink wrapped it, put a fuse in. The mirrors didn't pop. Come to find out, when we looked at the wiring harness, the damn transmission control module on that daggone Mopar was piggybacked off of the damn heated power mirrors in that car, and it shorted out, and it was short to ground, and it was triggering the transmission, telling the transmission control module to go in default mode. This lady had put 2 transmissions in this car, was out of money for the 2 transmissions. The shop that was working on it said, we don't know what's wrong with your car. We're done with it. So pretty much done with it. And it ended up being a damn 10-cent damn fuse, because they put, come to find out, she was a mail lady. She knocked the mirror off of the passenger side, got another mirror at the junkyard. Her husband or her son or whoever put the mirror on the car, but didn't wire it up and twisted the wires together, and the damn wires went back and forth into the door, shorted it out. So she didn't need a transmission to start with. She didn't need the second transmission to start with. It was a damn 10-cent fuse that was making her shit go crazy. So that is crazy too. So let's kick up on it. See, check the turn signal, swamp assembly. Need some grits. Yeah. Man, I've been eating the hell out of some grits. I had a 66 Chevelle flasher go bad. When you would hit the brakes, the turn signals come on. Facts, I'm trying to do the same. Yeah, random. I ain't got time for it, man. I ain't got time for it. It's like a boat anchor, man. It's like a boat anchor and drill holes. It's like a boat anchor and drilling holes in the boat, man. I thought you said no clients' cars on the weekends. Well, I did, Gary. I did say no clients' cars on the weekend. But there was one day this week, I didn't get to work a full day. And plus, he wants this thing done by the end of the month, because he's got somewhere he wants to go on the 15th of December. And I told him I'd do my damnedest to get it finished. Plus, I need to drive it to put some miles on it to make sure everything's good. So, Lord willing, I'm going to do my best to, I had the hiccups. I'm going to do my best to get satisfied where it's at. Now, everything else is good. I got to get exhaust put on it. I got to hook the torque converter up. I got to run transmission lines. I got a punch ticket list. I'm not going to bore you with it. But once I get all that stuff done, I should be good to go. So I'm thinking a couple more hard weeks. I should be done with this thing. I'm trying to shoot for Thanksgiving, but I don't want to jinx myself. But I got to get this wiring finished out. I got to charge the AC system and all that other stuff. Skate Punk, you said you moved me. Well, Random, I appreciate it. I'm in a solo grind at all times. Yeah, no drama, man. Well, I appreciate it, Saltwater. I appreciate it. Yeah, them damn K cars, man. Especially cars, them K cars, them damn convertible turbos. Shit, I'd love to have one of them sun guns right now. I'm so yeah. I'm so confused what happened. Why I'm just hearing about big old teddy bear. Yeah, I know Ghost Play. It's all right. It's all good. They can have it. They know who they are. They can have it. Hi Mac, Saltwater, Mac, Ghost. That's crazy. I'm catching up on the comments. I'm good. Gary, holy shit, I never knew. Holy shit, I would have never knew the family. I know, right, Special K? That's crazy. I'm good. Just my 95 F-150 did the third member light, blew the train. God almighty, daggone. Yeah, so I'm gonna let y'all look. Well, it ain't no secret. So it's thundering. So we must be getting some rain. So check this out. A shadow, yeah. So I would love to have a Bobcat or a Pinto. I'd love to have a Bobcat or a Pinto and put like a 4.8 or a 5, put a 4.8 LS in it, just nasty. Roll cage and everything, just make it just crazy. And I tell you something else I like to find. And I know somebody that's got 3 or 4 of them, they just won't get rid of them. So I'm gonna tell this idea, and I know somebody's probably done it before, but if they have, I haven't seen it. But what I'd like to do is I would like to get a Dodge K car convertible and find another G-body, another Cutlass, 2-door Cutlass, cut the roof off of the Cutlass, take everything out of the K car and make that bitch a convertible. That's what I like to do. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to make another G-body convertible. If I couldn't do that, I would like to get another G-body and just cut the roof off of it and make it a convertible all the time. Now, I did see that on No Limit on Facebook, on No Limit on YouTube. They had an orange one with some silver leaf down the side with switches. They had 12-inch cylinders in the back and 8-inch cylinders in the front. And they had cut the top off of it and made it a convertible all the time. And it was out in Cali. So I would love to do that. If I had a Accord, my wife had a Pinto. Here's some things that I would like to have. I'd like to have like a 68, or I'd like to have a VW, a Super Beetle, right? I'd like to have a Volkswagen, trick it all out. Then I'd like to have a Pinto or a Bobcat, trip it all out. And I'd like to have a convertible G-body and a split bumper Camaro and a 49 Aero sedan Chevrolet car. Yeah. So I appreciate everybody. We got 32 people and 32 thumbs up. I appreciate that gift. I really do. So it's thunder, it's lightning. I got some windows down on some vehicles. I got to go ahead and roll them up. But I appreciate every single one of you. If you look and if you want to be a member to the channel, I'm going to do more stuff for members. The member fee, the member thing is $7.99 on my end. If it charges you anything on your end, it's because you're going through an Apple product. If you use Apple products, phones, laptops, or anything like that, and you try to be members to people's channels on YouTube, they're going to charge you 30% just to use the service. So if you want to join the channel, I'm going to do more stuff for members, and with the help of Mac and WTF Mike and Cars in the Cut, I eliminated all 3 levels, which I did not know I had. I did a video on it earlier this morning if you want to watch that and explain that. I'm not going to get into it tonight on this one. Not going to regurgitate or echo chamber the same shit. But I'm going to do more stuff for members. So I done this just to let the masses out. And when I fix this, I'm going to let y'all know. But the next thing that I do, the next live that I do or short video I do, it's going to be members only for a week, and then I'm going to drop the video for the regular person. So, hey, gremlins are badass too, man. Gremlins are badass. So I appreciate every single one of you. I really do. But let's get this thing done, and and we'll go from there. So once we get this gremlin demon going, we should be easy selling. And then we do the air conditioner and do that. So I'm super excited about it. I'm ready to drive this thing. The client, I don't know if I told him, but I'm gonna say it here. For me to drive somebody's vehicle, they're gonna have to put me on their insurance or put me, give me permission to drive their vehicle, because anything can happen. And I just need to be covered while I'm driving their vehicle, because Lord knows I don't want nothing to happen, but anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. I do not cut up in clients' vehicles. I do not do burnouts. I do not do anything. I don't hell, I don't even act a fool in my own shit. So I'm definitely not going to do it in clients. You treat it like a baby. You don't treat it like prom night. You treat it with respect, and you drive it nicely and stuff like that. You don't dog their vehicles out. You don't show your ass. You don't showboat. You don't do anything. Now, if the client wants to get in and do burnouts and do donuts and shit, hell, I'll sit in the passenger seat and I'll scream and throw out damn fairy dust out the passenger window. That's okay. So I don't never do anything like that with anybody's vehicles. Even if the client said, hey man, just do whatever you want to, I still don't do that. I'm very conservative. I'm very, very respectful for other people's. Now my 54 Bel Air, I'll pull that bitch out there on the highway and I'll melt the tires down. That's different. That's mine. Because if it breaks, I can fix it. But somebody else's stuff, like this right here or anything, that's their baby. And if you're working on people's cars, don't get out there on the street and show your ass in somebody else's vehicle just to be showing your ass, because anything could happen. And then if you're showing your ass and you're being unbecoming, then it's your responsibility to fix it. Now, if you're just driving it and some idiot runs a stoplight and you can't stop and they hit you, that's on them, not you. So be respectful of your clients' vehicles and treat them better than you would treat your own stuff, because this is their babies. This is what they want. This is what they're doing. So you have to be very respectful of other people's shit, right? And you're supposed to give it back better than you got it in the first place. But anyways, boys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you. Y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I wish, and if you can hype up any of my videos, go back and watch them, and you swipe to the right, swipe to the left on the comment section before you open it, and it lets you hype them up. I would greatly appreciate it if you'd hype the videos up. YouTube is dragging on their damn algorithm, and they're kicking all of us in the nuts, all of us. Everybody is not getting pushed out there for whatever reason. YouTube is they're just kicking us in the nuts. They're just kicking us in the nuts. So I appreciate every single one of you, boys and girls. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Remember what I said, boys and girls. Don't worry about the man up the road or the man down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else. Put God first, let loose and drag. Peace.